Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're diving into something our sources are describing as, well, a really shocking turn of events.
Right.
It's centered on land allocation in Abuja, and there are some pretty serious accusations swirling. We want to unpack what's actually being claimed.
That's right. And our focus for this deep dive is squarely on the FCT Minister, Nyesom Wike. According to the reports we're looking at, he's under fire
Yeah.
for what's being termed an alleged massive land grab. So our mission, is to get past the headlines.
Right, beyond the sensationalism.
Exactly. And explore the precise claims, look at what the sources are actually saying and what the implications might be.
Okay, so we'll try to illuminate the alleged scale we're talking about here, the reported value, which is quite something, and the public reaction. It's stirred up. Hopefully you'll get the essentials without feeling overwhelmed. All right, let's unpack these claims then, because the figures detailed in our sources are, well, they're pretty eye-popping. They really demand attention. We're talking about an alleged allocation of 2,082 hectares of land.
That's a huge area.
It really is. Apparently allocated to Joaquin Wike, who is the minister's son. To give you some perspective, that's, roughly 5,000 acres.
And it's not just the size, it's where this land is located, isn't it?
Absolutely key. The sources specifically mention Maitama and Asokoro,
Which, for anyone who knows Abuja, are like the absolute prime real estate zones.
Yeah.
Super high value.
Exactly. Known for government access, limited availability, really desirable spots.
And what's really fascinating here, and a core point in the sources, is the sheer financial number attached to this.
The value, right?
Yeah. The estimated value is pegged at around $3.6 billion.
Wow. Billion.
Billion, yes. And, the sources highlight that this figure alone just raises some critical questions about public assets versus private gain.
Especially considering how things usually work.
Precisely. When you look at the typical FCT land allocation process, usually it involves things like public bidding or clear development plans, oversight by statutory bodies.
Right. Established procedures.
Exactly. And the claims here seem to suggest that this particular alleged grant might have circumvented those procedures. That seems to be a major point of contention.
Okay, yeah, that context about the normal process is crucial. So, given that, how are the sources describing the public reaction to all this?
Well, perhaps unsurprisingly, the news has apparently sparked significant outrage. That's the term used.
Okay.
Across social media, various forums. Our sources highlight people labeling the alleged move as mindless and shameless.
Strong language.
Very strong. And crucially, it's not just, general anger. They explicitly state that critics are calling on anti-corruption agencies to take action.
Ah, so a direct call for investigation.
A very vocal demand, yeah. To look into the mechanisms, the legality of this alleged grant. And many observers, as noted in the material, are suggesting this, quote, could be one of the largest land grants to an individual in the recent history of the FCT.
Which really amplifies the concerns about transparency, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. Adds a lot of weight to those calls.
Okay, so to sort of bring this deep dive toward a close, let's just connect the dots on these core alleged facts. We've looked at claims that the FCT minister, Nyesom Wike, allegedly allocated this massive amount of land,
2,082 hectares,
in those top-tier areas, Maitama and Asokoro, to his son, Joaquin Wike.
Mm-hmm.
And the reported value is just staggering, $3.6 billion. It seems to be the sheer scale, especially in those locations, that our sources are calling truly shocking.
Absolutely. And that seems to be fueling the outrage and the demands for scrutiny we talked about.
Right.
The critics aren't just questioning it ethically, they're actively pressing for those anti-corruption agencies to step in.
Makes sense, given the claims.
Yeah. And this description of it being potentially one of the largest grants of its kind recently, well, it leads us to a pretty fundamental question pulled directly from the source material for you, the listener, to consider.
What's the question?
It's this. $3.6 billion in land, allegedly for one individual. Does this seem justified, or is it, as the sources frame it, just blatant excess?
That's definitely something to think about.
It is. We encourage you to reflect on that. Think about the implications, for land management, for public accountability, and the integrity of public office when allegations like these surface.